Okay. 3 people in the waiting room. I got. Now that there's no dinging, we're not going to know that they're in the waiting room. So you're just going to have to keep looking at waiting room. Okay.
Yeah, I've got an eye on it.
All right. Awesome. It's growing. It's growing. All right. I changed that too. Mute all upon entry. That works. Powerful buttons we have here today. All right, 27 of us. This is exciting. I can't wait to get going. All right, so that 20% that I was talking about is definitely lead generation. It is the core of our business. That is why lead generation is the core of your business, is the actual topic that we're going to go over today, which is exciting. I'm excited to be here, and growing the market center in the Capital District, Ignite is basically the thing that helped propel so many of our top associates, right? So agents that got into the business and then year 2 or 3, all of a sudden they're $5, $8, $10 million producers. And if you really ask them what they did, they would say they went to Ignite. But not only did they go to Ignite, they went to Ignite, they went out and they did business, and they went back to Ignite. And the reason that they go back to Ignite is because this is the basis, right? My husband always says you can't launch a rocket ship out of a swamp. And here's the reality. It's messy, this business. There are so many different things out there for us to kind of, have to understand and put in order and have systems for. And let's be realistic. We got into this business because we want to be entrepreneurial. We want to be our own bosses. And that is the opportunity that we have, which is a double-edged sword. So that double-edged sword is, you're the person that has to motivate yourself every day. You're the person that has to hold yourself accountable every day. You're the person that has to grow this business every day. Now, the reality of lead generation is it doesn't stop. And as you guys know, whether you've been licensed a year, whether you've been licensed a week, or whether you've been licensed for 10 years or 20 years, once you're in this business, you have a different, what we call your RAS, right? There's a reticular activating center in your brain that all of a sudden hears any word called real estate. Someone died. We're getting my aunt's house ready. You could be 4 booths over in Denny's and you hear that conversation because it's in your brain. So the reality is you're always going to be lead generating, right? You're going to be lead generating whether you're in Denny's, or you're in Dunkin' Donuts, or you're in the grocery store, or you're at a basketball game, or a child chorus concert that you're sitting there praying that it's going to be over soon. It's going to be those types of things where you're going to hear the real estate, right? So right now we know that it is a little bit harder to get business because we're not able to cold call, right? Because we're not able to go out and reach out the way that we previously could have during the state of emergency. So lead generation has to be a little bit more purposeful right now. And it's in the conversations that we're having, because we're not able to go to the chorus concerts. We're not able to go to the sports events. We're not sitting close enough to people to hear what they're saying in the restaurants, right? So all the things that we typically would naturally do throughout the course of our days have very much come down have become minimal, right? So that means the activities that we have to do have to be more purposeful, and they have to also be not just purposeful, they have to be beneficial, right? Beneficial to the person that you're giving them to. Otherwise, they don't want it, right? How many postcards are you getting in the mail for lawn service right now? Right? Advertisements for lawn service. Anybody? Right? Nobody's getting them? All right, I'm getting a whole bunch. Maybe it's the neighborhood I'm in. It just seems like everybody wants this neighborhood, right? So that's what we're getting, right? We're getting solicited with people that want to do lawns. And then of course we love the people that are calling our phones constantly from a local number. And then it happens to be, does anybody want to update your car warranty, right? So we love those calls too. We don't want to have those reactions that we have when we're bombarded. It's very challenging now to get someone to log into something, because as soon as you give your email address, what that means, right? We used to be okay with it at Rite Aid or Walgreens because we felt like, yeah, we get points. So we were okay with that. Now everyone is a little bit more protective of their data, because it is a lot, right? There is a lot coming at us. So how do we stand out? How do we lead generate now? How do we have purposeful conversations with people so when they think of real estate, they think of you, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm focusing on that core piece because it is a part, when it says core, there's a reason the word is core. It is a part of this business that if you don't like to lead generate in any way, and I don't, you know, there's not one way to lead generate. There's many different ways. We all have different behavior styles. We all have different centers of influences. There's all different ways to do it, right? The challenge is if we don't have it as a core, we live in that swamp. And then that rocket ship that you can't launch out. It's just mushy. And so it's that roller coaster business, right? I always say, and everyone that knows me probably hears me say this once a week or once a month, you know, roller coasters are really awesome to go visit and to ride. They're really not fun to live on. And this business can be a roller coaster, and we don't want it to be a roller coaster. And what I mean by that is we're in the roller coaster and we're running, we're going up, and we're excited, we're getting business. Now we have business. And once we have business, we're riding that business, but we stopped doing all the lead generation activities that were on this side up. So now we go down and we have to do it all over again. So when you think of your business as a hockey stick, that is the goal, right? In the beginning, you have to learn to earn. You have to go a little bit backward to go forward in order for you to grow your business, right? So that's what you're doing today. You're sharpening your saw, you're learning, you're slowing down, you're adding value, and now you're going to go out and you're going to grow your business. And that core piece is going to be constant growth and lead generation. And I'll be really honest, guys. None of us want you to feel nauseous about this. If this isn't a part of who you are, then it might be an opportunity to go onto a team and be a buyer's agent, be a showing agent, have fun in this business. If this is something that drives you to create change, to create a real estate business, business is the key word here because you're running a business. If that's what gets you excited, then you're in the right place for the core piece. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to do that lead generation piece, right? Most teams are going to make you lead generate in a different way that works for the team, right? A lot of teams have so much business from normal lead generation that they need to leverage those leads to the agents on the team, right? So the goal is to make a good living on a team. In our office, my minimum standard is $75,000 as a buyer's agent. I want those agents to make a $75,000 minimum on that team, right? If they can do that, that's a huge opportunity for someone. How hard is it to go get a $75,000 job right now? Right? With the flexibility of being able to do a lot of things. So there's a lot of opportunity in this business, and that core piece, that lead generation piece that we're going to go over today is the most important part. All right, so I like to always start out with one-word openings. And so what do I mean by a one-word opening? I just want to hear your word. Like, how do you feel today? What are you excited about? It could be about this class. It could be about your life. It could be about business, but it's just one word. So if you had to describe how you're feeling in one word, we're going to do it. Now, popcorn in, meaning, let's do this. Let me change the view to gallery. Popcorn in, meaning unmute yourself, say your word, and then mute yourself again.
Excited.
Awesome.
Positive.
Optimistic.
Inspired.
Eager.
Motivated.
Motivated.
Optimistic.
Very motivated.
Jazzed.
Re-energized.
Motivated.
Enthusiastic.
Motivated.
Good birds, guys. Do we all go?
Reinvented.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Excited.
I love it, Kaylee.
Ready.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
You can have that. You can have it too. Rah, ready, right?
Alive.
I haven't even finished a cup of coffee yet, guys. Wait till I finish the cup of coffee. You're in for a treat. Adam Nye, the real estate guy, is here today. Oh, I love it. And I love that I see our kitty in the background. Adam, how many times have you taken Ignite?
I took it twice in a row when I first started years ago, just back to back, and popped into a couple classes here and there since then, and back again.
I'm so excited to see your face. I have to say, I'm proud of you. Thank you for coming in and sharpening your saw with us.
Got to keep it sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of familiar faces, and I would love to see the people that have their names in. And I understand if you are in a place that you don't want to show your face, but we'd love to see your face today. It gives us energy, and just remember, we giving you energy gives us energy, and it kind of just is a big circle. So thank you. And we're okay with babies, just so you know. We're okay with animals, we're okay with babies. We don't care, because we're going to be looking at a PowerPoint in a minute, so it's not going to really matter. But we're in the gallery view. I would just love to see you guys. All right. So we did our one word opening. Who is ready to start Ignite today? Everyone? Yes. Awesome. Sabian's given the love it. Okay, so let's go to speaker view, and then we're going to start to our share. All right, I'm excited, guys. I have to say, this is a great class, and a great, I would say, can everybody see the PowerPoint? Yes. All right. So Chris, you're going to drive everything from now on, right? I'll do this, but you've got the room, and you've got the people coming in and out. All right. Awesome. Okay. So Ignite. Yay. We're going to start your career by sparking it. I actually think we're going to just set it on fire today. I'm better with setting things on fire than sparking stuff. You know what? Burn the boats. That's what I always say. All right. So everybody knows who I am. I think I introduced myself, Carrie Weiss, CEO at KW Capital District. For those of you who have been in this role now as a team leader and an owner for almost 14 years, in June, it will be 14 years, which is crazy. But my life has totally changed for this business, and I enjoy doing this. And this is where my passion is, being in the classroom. So I'm excited to be here today to help you guys kind of tear down the limiting beliefs that you have inside about lead generation, but also to kind of give you a big perspective of what it looks like to have it in your business consistently. All right, so what we're going to focus on today, this is what agents do every day, right? Today we're going to focus on number one, which is lead generation for buyers and sellers. Okay, that is our goal today, and how we're going to market it to selling listings, right? To seller listers. So we're going to do 1-and-1 on both sides. Actually, no, I think we're only doing one. I'm going to show you a little bit anyway. So lead generation for buyers and for sellers. Does everybody know where this material is, and everybody have this material? Is there anyone that does not? If you do not, if you don't mind, just private messaging Chris, and he can show you where. And if you don't know how to private message, just go to chat. Oops. I can't let anyone in when I'm in the screen view.
Oh, I got them. I just let them in. And then, yeah, if y'all, if you have any questions about how to get the material, I'm more than happy to send you that link. If you're wondering how to chat, you can go ahead and look down at the bottom of your screen. There should be a little chat feature, and you can type in, hey, I need it, and I will be more than happy to get that link out for you. All right.
Awesome. And if you have a question, you can also ask it in the chat too, and then Chris will just say it out loud for me to answer it for you today. Okay. So we will take breaks. I'm a big fan of, moving around every, 50 minutes. So we're going to move around every 50 minutes. It's important to. And I as somebody that is on Zoom a lot, you can get Zoom fatigue, right? We're staring at a screen. Don't look at yourself. That's where the Zoom fatigue comes in, guys. I don't think you realize it, but typically when you're out there in the normal day, you're not looking at yourself all day long, right? So when we're on a screen and we're actually looking at ourselves, our brain is paying attention to that, and you're actually not learning as much as you could, because you're absorbed on looking good and being right, which sounds silly, but that's just what our brain does. So when we're sitting there looking at ourselves, we're correcting, and we're focused is actually missing the opportunity today. So just moving forward, when you're in appointments, it's the best thing to do is to really just look at that little green light and smile at it, and look at the people's faces that aren't yours. And if it's not yours, you'll have more energy. Another trick, just so you know, for Zoom, don't put your appointments right on the hour. every hour on the hour. I know there's main appointments where you need to, but if there are consulting appointments with team or any other type of appointment, try to give yourself a few minutes in between appointments so that you can come down, breathe, walk around, grab some water, and then refresh and go back to the screen. So those have really helped me through this time. I couldn't figure out why I had less energy not leaving my house than I did when I was in the office. And my coach helped me through these little tips. So I hope they help you today. All right. So this is a safe environment. Yes, we are taping this for people. But what I mean by a safe environment is if you're struggling with anything in here today, please just private message Chris or myself, and we can reach out to you and help you. So if there's something going on that is struggling, challenging you from being able to do business, the team leaders definitely want to know about that. A part of this opportunity in KW is we are a very different company, right? So you have consultants helping you run your business, helping you grow your business, helping you think differently. We don't have managers. We don't manage business. We don't talk about transactions as a leader to an agent. It's more so like, what can we do to help you get more business? And how are you structuring that? And what are the activities that need to happen, right? So that's why the classroom is so important to constantly go back into, so that you're getting the value that you need to be able to go out there and perform at the level that the other associates that are in your company are performing at, right? There's a lot of value and there's a lot of places to find it, and it becomes overwhelming. So through Ignite, you'll learn where things are. So that's kind of why it grows off of each other, and it teaches you command as well. So and the good parts of command. There are challenges with commands. I'll be the first person to say it, but KW is very aware of that. And as you know, they have that 66-day challenge going on, and it is definitely getting tighter, right? So you'll see that change very, very quickly, and the maneuverability in that CRM will be a lot better than it is now, especially from the agent and the team side. I'm excited for you guys because it's pretty awesome. All right, so let's go. So the lead generation model. The goal today for Spark is basically for you guys to get your first appointment within 2 weeks, right? In Ignite, that's the goal. If you have never had business. If you've had business, this is really just getting you to use your systems, right? I'll be really honest. A lot of us just wing it after we've been doing it for a while. We get lazy, right? We have, the presentation in the car, we have a relationship with someone, we don't really even go over it. We're like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And then things fall apart because we got a little lazy. So what this class does is it kind of just gets you to be like, oh, I have a system for that. Oh, there is that. And this will save me time. And so that's what's great about it, and very efficient. So I'm a fan. And it all starts with the first thing that we have to do, which is the lead generation. So this is the big picture. This is what the funnel looks like, right? So prospecting and marketing, that's what you're going to go do. And there's a difference between prospecting and marketing. Okay. We want a business that is prospecting based, marketing enhanced. I'm going to say that again, prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And I want you to understand, we don't want to mistake movement for achievement. That's bold law, right? Movement for achievement means, oh, but I put out a billboard. Oh, but I mailed out all of this stuff. I'm building business. No, you threw a wide net and you're praying that someone's going to contact you. That's not prospecting, that's marketing, right? So don't mistake movement for achievement, because the achievement comes with the actual building of the business, which is the prospecting piece. Nobody's going to know you're a real estate agent until you tell them, right? So you don't want to be a secret agent. And I always say that, don't be a secret agent, and not the cool secret agent where you get a gun, like a secret agent where no one knows you paid $1,400 for dues and are paying a monthly fee to be an agent and are paying out things, right? You don't want that. We want to make sure that you're prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And Chris, if you could let him in, that's distracting me. I'm sorry. Oh, awesome. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna do some stuff today. What are we gonna do? What do top agents do in their business to be successful? What do they do? What's the question?
Lead gen,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
lead generation.
They lead generate. That's absolutely. So what does that look like? What could lead generation be?
Making phone calls.
Making phone calls to your center of influence, people that know you right now, right? We can't cold call, we can call warm people we know. What else can we do?
Have great scripts.
Absolutely. Have great scripts so we know what to say, right?
Follow up.
Thank you, sir. Follow up. Sometimes more important than you guys even know.
Pay attention to your market.
Absolutely. So we're learning our market, we're previewing our market, understanding our market, we're following up, we're lead generating.
Grow and manage your database.
So we're constantly adding to our database. So everything you guys are talking about is right here in this model, right? Prospecting and marketing, capturing all the business. Now we have leads. Now we're going to track and we're going to basically cultivate those leads, right? And if we're going to take those leads, we're turning them into people we know. Now we have a relationship. Now they are considered a contact, right? And we're going to connect with them continuously. We're going to set them up on campaigns, etc. Or you're going to write them note cards, or you're going to call them quarterly, or you're going to wish them a happy birthday, or you're going to send them videos, or whatever it is that you're going to do to connect with them. And then once you're connected, you're cultivating the business, right? You're going to get the appointment, and then you can see everything on activate, under contract, and close, right? So the goal is the funnel. The wider the funnel, the better. I talked a lot about thinking about your business as a chair or a stool, right? You can sit, let's just use a stool, 3 legs on a stool, right? If you take a leg away, what happens to the stool?
Less stable.
It's unstable. It falls over, right? I want you to think of your business having to have 3 legs, okay? 3 legs of prospecting in order to be stable. A lot of people, as you can see in the market that we were just in, may have had one way of marketing or one way of prospecting. They just cold called. For sale by owners expired. That was their business plan. It's very challenging when something happens. Now that one leg that they had, they have no leg, they have no business because they didn't have a follow-up system. You know, they were just focusing on getting the fish and eating it, and just getting the fish and eating it, and nothing on the back end and nothing on the front end. And so when that type of business happened during COVID, those people's business went from, 3, 5, 8, 12 million to nothing because they only had one leg of business. So when you think of your real estate practice, you have to think of 3 legs and figure out what those legs are going to be, right? They could be social media, could be a total leg. How are you utilizing social media, giving value out on social media, right? Another leg could be your center of influence, what you're doing with them, having events, etc. A third leg could be open houses, could be first-time home buyers. It could be anything, right? But the goal is to find 3 that you're comfortable with. First, find one that you like, that you can make it a base, and then add more so that you have support, right? So that when something like this happens, a shift in a market, you're prepared. And that's the hardest part. I've been licensed now for 21 years. This is the second time I've seen, well, really the third time I've seen a shift like this, okay? This shift is very different, but what's going to be on the other side is going to be what's even more important, right? So back in the day when I first started, short sales weren't anything, right? I became very proficient in short sales 20 years ago, not 20 to, well, I'd say 20 to 16 years ago, 16 to 20 years ago, really when I focused on short sales at a high level. And that was really, I had investors and I had short sales, and that was it. When short sales went away, I had investors that didn't want to buy because interest rates were up still, right? So my business was exactly what I'm telling you not to do. I had only really one leg of business, and therefore I had to start over, right? And learn how to build the business. And that's when I ended up at KW, and that was about 14 years ago. So when you really think about it, it's always about making sure that we have that little stool that we're sitting on it. And then we're going to build off of it. And then you can add as many legs as you want to it. And you will. You'll have more repeat business that comes in. You'll have a source maybe from a hospital or a nursing home or assisted living that you have that you get business from. Maybe you do new construction and you get business from that, right? So there's so many different ways to find the business. Estates, like estate planners. Sometimes estate planners refer to real estate agents. You may have connections with people you just don't realize you have. And then the goal is for you to be so proficient in this business that you can go out there and interview a whole bunch of different attorneys, a bunch of different accountants, et cetera, see who makes the best fit for you as a quote unquote vendor, partner, and then build your business that way as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How are we going to grow this business? By lead generating for buyers and sellers, and we're going to make it happen. All right, I have two screens going, so I get confused. All right, so the lead generation, database, and sales pipeline, they broke it down for you on the side, which is brilliant. We're going to focus today on number 1, prospecting and marketing. Yay. All right. Hello, look at this. Be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. You must have heard me. All right, how exciting is that? So when we're looking right now at this fun little triangle, and as you can tell, Gary Keller loves triangles. Most of our business models are on this triangle right here, which is great. We're supposed to watch this little video of why lead generation is important, what the goal is of lead generation. I think the conversation I just had with you is actually as important as the video I just shared that I should share. So I'm not going to share it because we had the conversation. It would just be reiterating what I said. So we're just going to move through. If you do want to watch any of these videos, they're in KW Connect under Ignite. There's like a little place that you can watch them. But basically, it's telling you exactly what I just said. Be prospecting based, marketing enhanced, and how to do that, right? Why we do that. All right. When we're looking at this triangle, what is the aha that you see? And when I mean aha that you see, what can you take from this picture and pull out as an observation?
Prospecting is the base, the foundation.
So this is, by the way, on page 6 in your participant guide, if you're following along in your participant guide. And on that page, you're going to find a comprehensive list of prospecting and marketing activities that you can refer to in the future.
Well, yeah, it looks like prospecting is on the bottom of the pyramid. So that's telling me that marketing is more important. The top.
How can you get to the top without having a bottom?
I think many of us think that you market to get your clients into prospect, but this model is showing us that prospecting has got to come before your marketing. And then once you have a base of who it is you're trying to sell to, then you can now specify your marketing and avoid some of those wide nets and bland billboards.
Thank you, Josh. Absolutely. We have to be able to market to something, right? I think a lot of the time that's that mistaking movement for achievement thing, right? We try and market to get business. But the reality is people do business with people that they know, and everyone knows 1 or 2 real estate agents. So that's just think about that. Okay. Go ask anyone in your family who they know is a real estate agent. And they can't say you. I guarantee they're going to know 2 people. So that's the reality of what we're fighting for. Prospecting is building your database. Your most important thing is collecting all of the data of all the people that you know. And you guys know a lot more people than you think you do, right? A lot more people than you think you do. You're talking to people all day long. No matter where you go, you have conversations. You have family members, you have friends, you have high school friends. Social media allows you. And just remember, KW is a global company. You can refer business anywhere. I got a $17,000 referral a few weeks ago because my friend here bought a condo down in Florida, and I had no idea he was going to build a $2 million property. He told me he was probably going to rent. I got a $17,000 25% referral check in the mail. Who would like one of those? Now, is that luck? I don't know. I've got 2 or 3 more coming, and I have this new bank account called Mama Needs a New House. That motivates me. Referrals motivate me. I realized, I'm like, I could probably make $100,000 a year talking to people I already know. I don't have to sell real estate. I'm not going to compete against my agents, but I'm going to get referrals. Why not? Right? Why not? I have friends moving everywhere from here somewhere. Puerto Rico, my goodness, I have 3 or 4 referrals out for Puerto Rico right now. It's awesome. And in KW, there's a really awesome tool in there that you guys can look at the agents in the areas to see if they're doing production, right? To see how many transactions they closed. You can do that right in your command center. So when you go into command, there's like a little button for referring agents. When you go into that, you hit the map, you can find an area, see how many agents have transactions there in the trailing 12 months, pick an agent, create a relationship with them. Where do people from New York move?
My state.
Florida.
Florida.
South Carolina.
Florida.
Find the areas, find an agent, create a relationship, and start referring business. Do it. Part of family reunion, when we used to do family reunion mega camp, like in person, they used to have this huge room where just there were referrals, and they had these big like fish tanks where it would have agents would just set up their fish tank. They'd make a contribution to KW Cares. I think they get a fish tank, and they would say where they, the area that they were in. And then they would have certain hours where all the referral agents would go in there. And there's a lot of agents in this company that were just referral agents. They didn't go out there actively selling. They referred business. Pretty interesting. That can be a leg of your business. That can be a stool, not the main one, but it can be a piece of it, right? So when you're thinking today about this prospecting, it's about everything real estate. You need to be the person that when they think of real estate, they think of you that can connect them to anything real estate. A plumber, an electrician, a pool person, a lawn person, an attorney, an inspector. That's your team, right? Part of prospecting is for you to run that business, is to find the people that you can refer to and know that they're going to refer back to you because you have the same business relationship, meaning you have the same core values.
Can I add something really quick?
Absolutely.
So I've only had my license for 4 days, so I'm brand new, but I realized I moved here. So I was born here, but then I moved to Cape Cod, and then I moved back here. And at first I was kind of like, I'm going to share with everyone I know in New York and the like immediate and surrounding areas that I'm an agent now. And then I was thinking, and I said to myself, why am I not telling all the people that I know on Cape Cod? So I reached out to a few people on Cape Cod where I used to live, and they were like, oh, I know so-and-so who, is moving up to New York in the next however many months for a job. I'll refer you to them. And so I kind of realized how important it was that no matter where somebody lives right now, to let them know.
That's awesome.
And to me, I'm like, they're 5 hours away, I'm not, but I'm like, no, tell every single person that I have in my phone, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, even if I haven't talked to you since high school, like try to start building, that relationship back up and letting you know. So you can let your friends know who know other people who know other people who I have no idea who they are. But at the end of the day, I could end up knowing who they are.
Absolutely. That's how it is. So that now the goal is to market to those people, right? Prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Marketing is indirect. It's just an indirect way of trying to get business. So it's mail advertising, it's leaving door knockers, it's indirect, right? Prospecting is direct, it's proactive, and it's direct. So it keeps you active versus being a reactive agent, which is very different, right? We want to be active, not reactive to the business. And you can tell when someone is reactive to the business because they're holding on to transactions that they shouldn't even be working on. And what I mean by that is if we're focused on the transaction because we need the income, we actually are doing a disservice to this business and to our client. Our fiduciary is the client. Our fiduciary is always what's in their best interest. It's never putting ourselves first, right? I love when agents say, oh, but if if that other person brings in a transaction that I don't get to do this. I'm like, this isn't about you. This is about the client and the seller and what's best for them. That's your fiduciary, right? So it's the same in prospecting. Is that's our fiduciary to ourselves, right? Our fiduciary is to prospect and to build that base so that we don't have to be reactive. And if we become reactive, then we need to step back and say, okay, what am I not doing? I would probably bet $1,000 that it's prospecting. We stopped it. So now we're holding on to things because it's easier, right? But now we're on that roller coaster. So can agents be successful just being marketing based? Absolutely. They're going to spend a lot of money. That's it. It's just going to be a higher ROI or a lower ROI, but they'll get the business. You see them. They buy the business, right? They buy the listing. They want the house on the street because it's on a main thoroughfare, and they cut their commission because that's their goal is the sign. That isn't actually doing a fiduciary. In my humble opinion, but people build businesses off of it. Typically, then they come to KW and we have to retrain them on how to run the business, because once they try to take a vacation, their business stops. It isn't a business. It's a job. None of us want to have a job. The goal in this is to create that base and then run it to the point where we can either leave it and it runs by itself, or we work in it 10, 15 hours a week. That's an opportunity we have here. We don't have that in any other company. They don't really teach that in other companies, right? We're different. People are like, oh, all real estate companies are the same. No, there's oranges, there's apples, bananas. We're rocket ships, guys. You joined a rocket ship. That's why we have this class. That's why I'm having these conversations. I don't want to be misleading, but spending up the money, if you want to spend all the money you want, go for it. Don't complain that you're spending a lot of money and your ROI is low. If you have great conversations and you give good value and you work with clients and with opportunity and you go slower and you build it, you can go faster later, extremely fast later. And it's not messy. It's systematic, right? That's the goal, to be systematized. And that's the hardest thing for us to do, guys, because, well, let's be realistic. We're entrepreneurial, right? All right, the energy changed. I feel like I yelled at y'all, so talk to me.
Hey, Carrie.
Yes.
I just want to point this out for the newer agents too, because I came from a marketing background. I came from a lot of things that I thought that I had to do to support the business. My business grew for one simple reason. I would talk to people. I would ask them how they're doing, because we're in a really different time right now. I would post on social media a couple things. You see my things about my mom. I don't like blasting.
Everything in the whole world.
So everybody knows my mom's like a 4'8" little Japanese Muppet, but she's hilarious. But the things you do in your life, people will always watch you. Don't pay attention to the likes or anything like that. People are always watching on social media. So definitely I have to be more purposeful and deliberate and intentional with just posting out there more. But the biggest thing that I did from a marketing standpoint was I literally went to the Dollar Tree and bought like those 2 for $1 cards. And once a month, I send them out to my key sphere. And the feedback I just got from that, just saying like, this next one's going to be Mother's Day, and I'm sending out to all my mamacitas and things like that. So it doesn't even have to be about real estate because they'll start asking you how real estate is. So Gary's right about, don't go broke with it's like on a diet, the prospecting thing. Every day you focus on what you're eating, you're feeding your database, you know what I mean? And you're putting the right things into it so that over time, you get your goal of being, your fabulous self. And that's how you do your real estate self. And the marketing would be like, you can go buy clothes and things like that and show off your new bod. But for me, that was kind of the click that I had recently. But sending out those cards, when you call people and tell them, if they say, I'll help you out, or I'll think about it, you know, you say, who do you know? Just send them a little thank you card. Thanks for talking to me. I'm really excited about it. Hope you have a great day. Send them a card. Period. End of story. It's simple like that. It costs a stamp. And if you go to Michael's, you could just get note cards for cheap.
Yep, look at this. Cards. Sitting right here, cards. I'm a card whore. I will be the first to admit it. And I have these. I just got these too. These are cool. They're all birds, and there's an owl in here that has money on it, which I just thought was so cool because who you're in business with matters. And if you guys can see it, it's actually got the 1040 tax code on there, which is just really funny. Anyway, I'm a visual person, and a lot of people like to receive gifts. How many of you guys have read the 5 love languages? The languages of love, I think it's called the 5 languages of love. Anybody? Highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. I think it's probably one of the #1 books that I give out as a team leader. And the reason I give it out is because sometimes we're not speaking the same language that our partners are or that our coworkers are. But you have to learn what your love language is. And when you can learn what your love language is, you can start to understand that other people and identify that they have that love language too. And if gifts is something that someone likes, or words of affirmation, it's very easy to do that in a card. And you have no idea how much love you would be putting into someone that may just get them through the day. So being a little bit more in tune, you think of someone, there's a reason you thought of them, write them a note. If you start doing that, no matter what, I guarantee you'll have more business. It's that simple. It's just that simple. So everybody now understands the difference between marketing and prospecting, correct? By a face, head nod. Yes, give me some love. Awesome. All right. So let's go to the next slide. Database. This is exactly what Michelle was talking about. So your database, your CMA, right? Your total database, where you put your people, and then setting them up on campaigns so that you have an understanding. When I used to teach Ignite in the classroom, a lot of times I would joke with everyone. I'm like, all right, any woman in here with a purse, I want you to go through your purse and find me a lead. And I could guarantee that if there was 5 or 6 people in there, we would find 2 or 3 leads in their purses. They wrote it on a back of a, national grid bill. It's on the back of their own business card. It's on a little yellow sticky note. It's in their wallet that they thought they would remember to get it out of their wallet, right? I'm not making this gender specific. I'm just giving you guys an example. There's a lot of opportunity that we leave on the table because we think in our brain that we're going to remember to go get it later. You can only remember 7 things at a time. You only can keep 7 things on your mind at all times, things going on, right? So the reality of the situation is you're not. If it's not that important, you're not going to remember it. You'll maybe remember it 2 or 3 times and then it's gone, right? So the goal is to create the relationship with your database that you love it, all right? I know it's painful. We love to do paperwork as a high driving entrepreneur. It's our favorite thing to do. But the reality is, this is where, all right, let me ask you a question. How many hours a day are we supposed to lead generate? If you go by the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
3.
All right, so what does that 3 hours look like? Is it 3 hours of calling people? What is it? It's an hour of preparation.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour of actively having conversation, and it's an hour of follow-up. This is your follow-up. This is that hour a day, 5 hours a week. That's all we're asking for, is where you put all the information into your database. It's 5 hours of getting everything ready, right? Who are you going to call? Do you have to look up stats for that area? Do you want to just get ready for the call and look at your social media and who has birthdays today and call those people? I mean, it's just a system, guys. It's how do you want to get business and how are you going to actively do it every day, 5 days a week? Not 7 days, 5 days. You should have 2 days off. I know that sounds crazy, right? How do I do that now? I could teach you how to do that. It may really make you feel uncomfortable for a little while, but you'll be fine. And there will be days where you have to work, right? But if you purposefully time block in your 5 days of business that you want to work, and it doesn't have to have 2 days off in a row. You can have a Monday off. Nothing really happens on Mondays in real estate. It's catch-up day, right? You could have a Friday off. Get ready, go out Thursday night. There's a lot of opportunity to be purposeful. That's all I'm saying. All right, so your database. So what do we talk about with your database? Let's look at this. A database is a tool that centrally stores customer and prospect contact information, which is regularly updated and new details and events. Yep, we know that. It can be organized and sorted as needed. We know that too. A database is a tool to nurture and manage the relationships and to track the interactions that you have with people. This is your gasoline. The database is your car. The people are the gasoline. You can't go far or anywhere with a great database that doesn't have people in it. The gasoline could be really crappy gasoline because you just have names. Or it could be premium gasoline and now you have their birth date, their anniversary date, their home address, their email address, their phone number. You even put in some notes about their children in there, right? Or their puppies, or their cats, or their iguana. And you guys see that crazy video of the dinosaur in Palm Coast in Florida? Any of you guys? No? So there's this woman, this is really funny. She's got like a camera in the back of her house, and there literally looks like a little velociraptor or whatever runs through her backyard, and she caught it on video. And it's just really funny because it looks like a dinosaur, and I have no idea. It looks like something maybe have grabbed garbage and ran, and maybe that's what made it look like a dinosaur, but it's hilarious. And I don't know, I just thought it was funny. And I digress, but that's a conversation. I love crazy videos, and it's something you could talk about, right? All right, so utilizing this and storing your information, very, very important, guys, very important. So what are we doing? Why are we not doing it? Let's be realistic. How many of you guys have more than 500 people in your database right now? I can't see. So how many people?
I do, but it's not complete. I'll be honest. I'm putting it out there. That's one of the things.
No, that's the reality.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm working on.
If I asked you for your time block, do you have any time in your database that says you're working on this? In your calendar that says you're working on your database?
Yes, at 8 to 9.
Okay.
I stopped watching TV. I'm giving up the TV. Well, I don't really watch TV, but I'm giving up time talking to my boyfriend about the news that he watches. So I told him from 8 to 9, you got to leave me alone from now on.
There you go. So you're protecting it, right? Any of you guys that have read The One Thing, Gary talks about his bunker, right? There's a bunker in there. You need to have your bunker to be able to protect you. Sometimes you got to protect yourself from your animals. They're distracting, right? Children, animals, spouse, partner, doesn't matter. Anything can be distracting. So protecting that database time is so important. So important. Let me ask you a question. If I was an attorney, actually, if I was a dentist, and I wanted to sell my business, what am I selling?
Customers,
Your clients.
patients.
Yeah, patients.
So how do I give my patients to another dentist?
Your database.
Correct. So dentists have a database. Doctors have a database. Lawyers have a database. Insurance agents have a database. Real estate agents have a database. Your database is your business. If you don't have a database, then you don't have a business. You are on the roller coaster. Ignite asks you to start adding 10 people a day to during Ignite, right? That 10-4, that conversation that you probably learned a little bit about yesterday. It's activities, right? Talking to 10 people a day, adding those 10 people into your database, taking those 10 people in your database that you just talked to and sending them a note card and thanking them for the conversation. Going out and previewing 10 houses. It's easy for us to preview now because we can look at it online, right? You can look at houses online, you can do virtual tours. A lot of people have virtual tours. And the reason that you're previewing is you need to have an internal compass of what the house is worth. Is it hard to do that now? Yeah, a little bit more difficult because the market is what it is. But when you become in this business and you're established in this business and it becomes more of a balanced market, or maybe 4 months of inventory, so it's a seller's market, or maybe 8 months of inventory, so it's a buyer's market. And I say that so just so you understand, 6 months is a balanced market, 6 months of inventory on the market. That's what we consider a healthy, balanced real estate market in all of the world. Right now, in the majority of our market centers in MLSs, we have less than a month of inventory in our MLS. That's a lot different than a 6-month balanced inventory. So that's why we feel what we feel. When we have maybe 4 months of inventory, that's a nice seller's market. We like that market. When it's 8 months inventory, it's a buyer's market. We kind of like that market too, right? 6 months is great too. So when you get outside the 4 and the 8, that's when it starts to feel a little uncomfortable. And that's where the change happens, right? And that's what we're in right now. We're in something that we've never seen before. Typically, when a market is like this, the money isn't that cheap, right? So now money is cheap. Your house is worth more. We're not going to see short sales like what everyone says, oh, we're going to have all these forbearance. The challenge is people have equity in their homes. So if they can't pay their mortgage and catch up in forbearance, they're just going to sell their home and they have money. So it's not a normal time we've ever seen in real estate. It's different, but it's a huge opportunity for us. And you can learn so much in a market like this just by previewing houses online, right? So you're going to do your 10, 10, 10, 10, which is 10 for a day. That's the goal. That's how you start to learn the business. You get to the point where you can be like Josh or like Adam, walk into a house and know how much the house is worth because you know that market. That's that real estate compass. That's what we want to get you guys to get to the point where you have that. All right.
Carrie,
So I want to take a quick
question.
Yep.
Can you explain, like I'm in kindergarten, what a month of inventory actually means?
So a month of inventory means that okay, so when we have a balanced market, 6 months, it means that if we put no more houses on the market today, it would take 6 months for the current buyer and seller ratios to eat up the market. So today, if we put no houses in the market for the rest of the month of April through May at this time, we would have no listings. All the houses would be gone. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, Chris, can you let Lexi Russell in, please? All right, so let's let Lexi in, and I'm going to give you guys a 7-minute break, and we're going to come back here at 10 o'clock, and then we're going to run. We're going to have fun, okay? So the next, all the rest of it is just, we're going to practice. We're going to practice some scripts. We're going to look at the conversations that we need to have to get ready to have conversations. And we're going to talk about what that follow-up is going to look like as well. So I'm excited about this. So go grab a glass of water, have a bio break, go outside and breathe in some beautiful air. Hopefully we'll see sun today.
Can I ask you a question real quick? I'm sorry.
Yep.
So I remember somebody saying something. I'm still brand new too. I remember somebody saying, I think it was Kim talking about Twilio. And is that where on the database that you can send the messages and everything?
Yep, Twilio is the text plugin in commands to be able to text messages to your database.
Okay, so you can't use it off your phone and stuff?
No, it has to be through your system.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, I'll see you guys back here at 10 o'clock.
Hey, Carrie, it's Michelle real quick.
Yeah, go for
this is not, I just want, could you make a note to check your email to make sure you got what I sent you last week?
Oh, I did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I just didn't, I didn't respond because you sent it to other people too. And my rule of thumb is if the lowest person on the totem pole has to respond.
Okay, yeah, well, that's why I copied the other person, just because I figured from that standpoint compliance, so.
There you go.
All right.
Carrie?
Yeah.
These slides that you're showing, are they somewhere that I can print them out? I printed Sparks to Ignite, but I don't see like your part 2 database in it. Is that somewhere?
Yeah, let me show you real quick. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Like I'm in Google Drive and I'm in participant guides.
Yep.
Or I
Well, you can do it there. I'm just going to show you how to do it on KW. Hey, Brandy. Thank you for joining us. We're taking a break until 10 o'clock, just so you know. What was I doing? Okay, education. I went into the old KW, the My KW to KW Com, but this is where KW Connect is, right? So I just went in the old way because that's who I am. Under Ignite 2.0 is where you would find it.
Let me just,
Can you see where I am?
yeah, I just want to see if I know how to get in from my end.
You can go to kwconnect.com.
KW Connect. Okay, so yes, so I'm in there.
Awesome. When you're in there, you can, if you just go to, I should have all these classes.
Oh, so go to.
Is this what you see right now?
I'm at KW Connect and it's got calendar, training, resources, technology. Yeah.
Perfect. Hit training.
Training. Okay. Yeah.
I just went a different way. I'm sorry. Hold on. And then hit, no, hold on a minute. I have to do it a different way. I just don't know what I did. All right. Education. Yeah, if I just do that, that's the best way. Do you see this screen?
If I click on in person, let's see. Connect
is important. Why do we feel, why is the size of our database important?
The bigger the database, the more opportunity.
Absolutely. It's that simple, right? It is that simple. So the goal is for us to regularly look at it at least 1 hour a day, right? We're looking at our database. We're tweaking all the information. It's going to keep our people top of mind as well. You can search last contacted, etc., so that you'll know what's going on. If you had set up calls or tasks, there's lots of cool things that you can do in Command. And you're going to learn that with Chelsea when she gets in here in this classroom. All right. Somehow, Chris, we removed somebody from this meeting and it will not allow us to invite him back in. And I do not know why. It says the host removed you from the meeting. Can you just look in the back of the house and see if there's someone that we blocked? And if so,
Yeah, I will try to figure that out. I don't even know how that was even possible. So
I believe it's because he came in 30 minutes before the class started, and I might have done that without knowing. So
okay, let me try to figure that out.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, so whoo-hoo, I am multitasking and that is not a good thing. Okay, here we go. I apologize, guys. Next slide. Okie dokie. Part 2, database, leads, contacts. Leads, you have valid contact information. You actually know their first name, their last name, their phone number or email address, or phone number or phone number and email address, or phone number and physical address. Those really are the goals. You need an address and a name and a phone number, right? Starting with that information, that's pretty much the basic to create that base. So you definitely want that, but you're going to be having conversations and you're going to be seeking permission from these people that you have in your database to send them information and update it, right? Meaning, do you mind if I send you a birthday card? Could I get your birth date? Do you mind if I send you an anniversary for you and your spouse or partner, right? Or you could do anything on the home of, their anniversary of the home that you sold them. So the goal is to be looking at our contacts, to be looking at the leads that are coming in, cultivating them, having more conversations, figuring out, are they qualified, ready, willing, able to buy, or do I put them on a slow burner, or do I put them on a long time burner? Meaning they're going to be on simmer because they're not ready for a year, right? The challenge is we think in our head that we're not going to put it, we know that this person's going to sell next year. We're going to remember that. We're totally going to remember that. So we don't need to put it in our database. I'm just going to remember that. The reality is when that sign goes up, you didn't remember that because it's your competitor sign, and that doesn't feel good. So that's why the database is so important, guys. And I don't want you to experience anything that I'm speaking about. And I'm sure some of you have. So again, I'm just going to reiterate, if somebody pops into your head, write them a note. Doesn't matter if you haven't talked to them in years. Doesn't matter if you sold them a house 10 years ago and you haven't spoken to them. You can be fun and have fun with having a conversation with them, saying, you know what? I know I haven't talked to you in 10 years. I was waiting for you to unpack. How you doing with that? Have fun with it. Just joke. The reality is usually somebody has a box in their basement that they haven't unpacked, right? So you can have fun with that if you haven't talked to someone, but don't be afraid. So in here, it talks about that your database is all about the efforts that you're going to create, right? So meaning the effort that you put in is what you're going to get out. If you just put in minimal information, you're going to get minimal results. That's just the reality of it. And it will get very frustrating. And then you'll just say it doesn't work. It works if you're purposeful and consistent. And that's really the most important thing about anything that you learn today is if you block 3 hours a day, 1 hour for all of the gathering of the information of who you're going to talk to, 1 hour of actually prospecting and having conversations, two-way conversations, and then 1 hour, and those two-way conversations can be on instant messenger for those of you, or in Instagram talking to someone. That is totally allowed. That's lead generation, okay? Because you're having a communication. It could be texting somebody. It could be writing an email to somebody because they're expecting it, right? Or starting a conversation. I'd prefer messaging more than an email because that could just be considered prospecting, especially if you don't have the build the relationship, okay? But the goal is to continually do that, prospecting, and then follow up. What are you doing then? You're following up. You may be putting more information back into your database because they told you that they're going to be buying a house in North Carolina, and you need to put a task in there reminding you to find an agent for them because you asked permission if you could set them up with an agent down there that would help them, right? That they could interview. Business is done by referral in this business. Everything. Life is done by referral. We live by referral. And the reality is the word referral means nothing to a client. It means something to us. So when we educate them, make sure you don't use the word referral. I can help your friends and your neighbors and your colleagues relocate to wherever they want to go globally. I am a global real estate specialist. I have a network of over 150,000 associates that I can connect your friends with. These are the conversations you have, right? I would love a referral. I like when agents put it on their cards. I'm like, we love referrals. Nobody knows what that means. That's sales talk. Most people aren't salespeople, right? If you look at the DISC profile and you look at salespeople, it's like 6% of the population. So 6% of the population knows what your card is. The rest, they don't know what a referral is. So talk about the value, what you give, right? When you're giving out your business card, the value. And here's something else, guys. These are my opinions. This isn't in here. These are just what I've seen people do for the last 21 years in this business. I wasn't a top producer. I sold 7 million a year on average, right? I haven't sold houses in over 14 years. This business is very similar to what I do as a team leader. What am I doing every day? I'm looking on the internet at our associates, at agents outside, right? Who is learning based, who has integrity, who would like to grow their business at Keller Williams. I'm going to look at social media. I'm going to look at people's production. Then I'm going to make calls for an hour. Then I'm going to go into my database and put in all my notes and my follow-up, and I'm going to handwrite my note cards to those 10 people that I probably talked to. Is that any different than what you do? No. The difference is I'm having 10 appointments a week. How many are you having? That's what you will have if you actually do this, right? Or it could be 2 or 3 appointments a week. How many people would like 2 listing appointments a week for the rest of their real estate career? If you don't raise your hand, you're smoking crack. I'm being really funny, right? I'm being serious, guys. That's the reality. If you could have 2 listing appointments a week, how many weeks are there in a year? And let's take 4 weeks off. Let's just take 4 weeks off. That's it. We're gonna take 4 full weeks off in this business. So it leaves us 48 weeks. 48 weeks times 2 is what?
96.
96. Let's say we go by NAR statistics, and I get 67% of those listings. Or let's just say I get 25% of those listings. Let's go, we have no experience, 25%. 25% of those listings, right? The reason I say 67% is because most people only interview one person. 67% of people that sell their house interview one person. So you pretty much have a huge opportunity if you get an appointment, guys, right? But let's say you don't have really great skills and you're winging this, yet you're getting 2 appointments a week for 48 weeks and you get 25% of them. So 96, 25% of 96 is what?
Making me do math.
Somebody give me math. I know there was only 4 questions on your New York State test for math, but this is what
was the problem?
to like it quicker.
24.
24 people.
Listings. All right, so 20, I got 24 listings. Now I want you to take 24. Everybody's got a phone. 24 times your average commission. Now, in our area, typically like upstate New York, a good number for a first-time agent, for first-time home buyers is probably around 150,000, right? In some areas, it might be 180,000. In some areas, it could be 90,000, right? In the Capital District, it's 180. That's the number we use when we're coaching brand new agents. That's pretty much the average. It's probably 220 right now because of the market, but let's use 180, right? For the majority of everyone else, for the rest of Western New York, I would use 150, okay? Times 3% for everyone else, 2.5% for the Capital District area, because that's what the co-broke offer on average is, which is less than the rest of the state. You can get angry now. It's been like that forever. I don't know why. Anyway, so what's the amount per transaction? If you take 180,000 or 150,000 times 3%, what is the commission?
5,400.
So 5,400 times 24 is what?
$129,000 and a half.
All right, so we have $129,000 with 24 listings because we got 2 leads, we got 2 appointments a week. Now, if we had 24 houses, how many buyer leads should we, on average, in a normal market, get on each of those houses? Remember, it's you're listing your lead at KW. So typically you're gonna get all those sign calls. How many of those turn into actual buyers for properties on average? Let's say 2. 2 turn into clients. Let's just say 2. I'm going to tell you it's more for a better agent that can qualify the conversation when someone calls in on a sign. That sign call conversation is extremely important for you to create that relationship right up front. Taking a DISC class, a DISC class to learn behavior profiles is going to help you along the way, just so you know, because you can identify that behavior style, match it quickly, and then get that person as a customer and then to a client, right?
I think Mark is teaching a DISC class this week too, mental note.
I think he is. Is it this week?
Yes, I do think so.
Friday, maybe?
It is on the 21st.
Wednesday.
Go to it. Go to it. Is it the same time as this?
No, it's
Yeah.
at
1 to 3.
Oh, nice.
It's 1 to 3 tomorrow.
Good. Go to it. Go to it. Go to it. Go to it. If you don't have a listing appointment, go to it. That's the only or a buyer appointment. If you don't have an actual appointment for business, go to it. You'll learn so much. It will help you. All right. So I digress. So what was I saying before we talked about DISC?
129,000.
Okay. So 129,000, 2 transactions, buyers off of each house. So 2 times 24 is what? 48. 48 times 5,500 is what? Somebody give me
$264,000.
$264,000. $264,000 plus $129,000 is what in GCI?
393.
How many of you would like that business? How many of you would like to make $393,000 a year? It's all in your head. If you can or cannot do this, you're right. That's the reality. You're going to always be right because these are going to be the activities you do or do not do. 1 hour a day of having conversations, 5 hours a week of having conversations should procure you 2 transactions, 2 listing appointments a week. If you got one of them, it would be higher. If you got one of them, 2 of them a month, you're looking at $129,000 a year. It's just time on task over time, guys. That's it. The goal is you got to put the data in, you got to follow up. You have to be purposeful. It's just like the treadmill. You know it's good for your heart, yet you look at it and maybe you hang a coat on it or 2. Very expensive coat rack, right? You know what the outcome would be if you got on the treadmill. It's something stops us, right? You're right if you do, you're right if you're wrong. It's your decision. You just have to decide. This is all up to you. And the biggest challenge I think we have is we say tomorrow a lot in this business. I can do that tomorrow. I have time for that tomorrow. Well, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. We know that from going through Bold. If you haven't taken Bold, I know that it's going to be coming up soon again online. Bold stands for a business objection, a life by design. I was a huge fan of it when it was in the classroom. I think it's a lot more challenging doing this online. I think we can all attest that this is not that much fun, yet we know we have to be purposeful with it in order to be successful in this business. So I'm very thankful and proud of all of you guys showing up today. And we got to get real in this business, and the activities are our decision, right? They're up to us. Okay. Leads. These are the goals. 19 to connect, 4 touches, quarterly phone call, 12 touches, monthly email newsletter, market report video, 2 touches, promotional video mail, such as a magnetic calendar or market report. Don't send magnets, please. Not a fan of magnets. That's my personal opinion. I don't want a magnet of someone's face on my refrigerator. So I don't know who wants that. It doesn't really go. So I just think it's a waste of money and something that ends up maybe on the side of someone's refrigerator or against the cabinet. So for leads, the 19 to connect is the goal. For contacts, the 36 to convert is the goal. Okay, and these are what the programs are. The 4 touches are the quarterly calls. You're going to talk to people 4 times a year in your database, right? Now, you can choose what those four times a year are going to be, right? I would suggest doing them off the times that most people do them. What I mean by that is gift giving and thanks shouldn't just be at Christmas time and Hanukkah time and Thanksgiving, right? People do a lot of things around Thanksgiving, yet everybody's doing something around Thanksgiving. So everything that you're doing is actually minimalized because everyone else has kind of washed it out, right? I am a huge fan of being different in this business and touching people on the times that they're not used to being touched. And when you do that, you stand out, right? So instead of giving thanks during November, yeah, great, send them the card, do the normal stuff, give thanks during the springtime, right? Donate to a charity on someone's behalf. That would be such a huge opportunity for someone. You want to spend money? Be a little philanthropist. Even $10 to a local food bank on behalf of your clients, your top referrers, goes so much. You'd have no idea, those little touches. So quarterly phone calls to say hi, try to make them not around the normal times that other people would be calling, right? The same thing with the 12 monthly newsletters. Everybody's sending it out the first week of the month, or when, send it out the 3rd week of the month, or pepper it out, right? Touching, promotional, I'm a huge fan of sending things, but I'm more of a fan of something that can be used as an experience. That's just the way that I live. Like, I can buy anything. I don't want to buy stuff. I don't need knickknacks, but I want that experience. So if it's something that I can experience, that would be awesome, right? Maybe it's a coupon to go get ice cream. That's an experience. I go out and get ice cream, right? So just when you start to do things, think of your core values for your business. How do you want people, when they think of real estate, to think of you? We have a huge opportunity in our communities. We live in our communities. We're selling houses in our communities. Know the neighborhoods, know the businesses, become the person that when those businesses think of real estate, they're referring you, right? That's the opportunity that we have. It's huge. That's why the funnel looks like this, guys. And that's why we're going to capture it all. We're going to connect with it. And then we're going to build our base and our chair or stool, right? So these are for leads. Then part 2 is your contacts, right? Touching your contacts normally, what that looks like, same thing. This is giving more value, setting people up on campaigns, putting them on the neighborhood nurture so they can be nosy and see what's going on in their neighborhood. I'm a huge fan of that, by the way. My husband and I are looking for investment properties in Florida, and I've been using the consumer app at a high level. I love it. I don't think our associates have learned it enough to understand it, in my humble opinion, but if you use it as an agent, set up searches, you can do a draw, a map search. You can't do that in the MLS, right? Well, not in our MLS. But having a map search and then getting notified when the properties come on the market, the consumer, myself, can choose when I want to be notified. I can be notified immediately. That shows up there quicker than Zillow, just so you know. I love it. So I can get that information. I can set up an appointment. I can look at a virtual showing right away on my app, and I love it. So, excuse me. So touches, events. Events are the biggest opportunity I think that we have. And there's a lot of opportunity to do Airbnb events online. I did that with my ALC this year. We cooked gnocchi and tiramisu together. And I said that correctly, by the way, because I learned. And it was a really cool experience. I bought everybody chef hats, right? They were like $12 a piece. And I had a logo put on that they were a rock star and an ALC member. And I mailed them to, or I dropped them off everyone's house with the ingredients of the event for the food. So we all wore our hats, we were all silly, and we had this really cool experience. It would be amazing to do that. It's not that expensive, guys. The cost is really the food. The rest of it is pretty much simple. You could even support local farms, local restaurants. Actually, you want to do local farms or grocery stores, etc., to gather the food and then move on. But events are important. And there's a lot of cool things on Airbnb. So if anybody here has ever done an Airbnb event experience, share. Anyone?
Gary, I do have an idea for the newer agents to kind of their neighbors that they know. Actually, on the way out of walking out of the office, we're doing Red Day and we have that food drive. So I told a couple of the girls, I'm like, give these to your neighbors. I said, introduce yourself and say, hey, we're doing a community, Red Day event. I said, you guys can look it up. And I said, we're doing a food drive with it. It's just a great way to reach out to your neighbors and also show that, we're community based and serviced. So there's grocery bags in the market center up at Latham.
Yep. So that's what we're doing for Red Day. Each location has a different journey for Red Day, but piggybacking on that can be one of your events every year. If it's a type of event that you can invite your clients to, ask your team leader if it is. Why not spread the love? The more the merrier. The more people, the merrier. We get around 250 every year at our Red Day event. That's a lot. 250 people, right?
I'm
This
taking
year,
my mom.
350 people. We'll see. We're going to get shut down by Cuomo. It'll be fun. All right. All right, so now where are we? We're at contacts. All right, so contacts, custom tags, smart views, interactions, all this is gonna drive you crazy. Here's the reality. All of these are classes. Your market center has these, or they are on KW University for you to learn, right? What I'd love to do right now is to just answer any questions that you guys have so far on what we've already discussed in this last hour and a half. Anyone?
I don't think I have any questions, but this is just an observation. Right now, especially, I need to start thinking more creatively when it comes to getting information to people and getting a hold of people, especially not being able to go walk around my neighborhood and knock on people's doors. So I think that's just an observation that I've seen about the way I'm thinking as somebody who this is like my first week. So I don't know if that can help anyone, but especially for me, I need to start thinking way outside of the box. I have a neighbor who's, I mean, an investor. I guess his wife, I saw his wife walking like 2 weeks ago, and she's like, you know, he's buying houses and flipping them. So maybe he can be your first sale. But then I haven't seen them again. And I physically can't, you know, go up and knock on their door and bother them. So I am like thinking outside of the box. I have to get something, you know, creative over to their way. And I think it's just like all about the creativity right now when it comes to like getting people to see you kind of in what you can offer them during this time where you can't go knock on their door and call them. Am I making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Olivia, why can't she knock on their door if she knows them?
Exactly. I just wanted to say, if she knows them, had a conversation with them previously, then it's not cold calling door knock.
Correct. It's having a conversation with someone that you know, that knows your name.
So I'm allowed to go to my neighbors' houses and knock on their doors?
If you're friends with them.
Okay.
Olivia, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually throwing a Pampered Chef party. I'm linking into another business grower, and we're just networking off that. And everything I put out for the Pampered Chef party, I put my KW signature on.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy.
All right. So I want to show you real quick what command looks like. Okay. And the reality is my database in here as an agent is not good because I don't sell real estate. So I can't really show you. Chris, do you have sell real estate? No.
No, mine is probably going to be similar to yours. It's more
It's okay.
agent side of things. Yeah.
It's all good, guys. I don't usually teach this class. I usually teach the first class of this Ignite session. All right, so can you see this, which does not have anybody in, I have 1,800 contacts in here, but what I've done actually is downloaded my phone. So the first few hundred are just lots of places.
Now I can tell you the health of my training is very well, because SpongeBob did buy several houses from me. So just let me know.
Yeah. All right, I got Charles. Charles is a KW agent down in New York City, so I'm good. I'm just going to put him in here. So basically, the goal is for you guys to understand. Wait, let me just go back one. Is when you're in your database, this is what your command database looks like. You can import into this. There is a CSV file. I want you to contact your Market Center Tech Coordinator for the CSV file to be able to import. If you want to try it at yourself, you can just click this button up here that says import. Or you can manually add a contact, okay? So I'm not gonna teach you command today and how to add contacts. What I wanna talk about is starting to customize the contacts. Tags are very important. You're gonna wanna figure out how do you wanna tag the people? So let's just use Michelle as an example, right? So Michelle's friends, she has in here as friends, right? And then Michelle has her neighbors in here as neighbors, and some of them could be friends, and she could tag them as friends. Then maybe she has, let's pretend that Michelle plays tennis, and she has tennis group. Now that tennis group is really, really active. They do a lot of stuff together, and they're always referring business back and forth. Those people might be her A+ client, right? They're giving her business often, right? So customized tags can be for anything. And just remember, like, be consistent with it. It's kind of like when you get Google Drive and you start adding folders and then like it just gets out of control. Don't allow that to happen in here. Think minimalistically. So when you're thinking about tags, create the categories. Is it going to be a buyer? Is it going to be a seller? Is it going to be a renter? Is it going to be an investor? Is it a first-time buyer? Could it be a luxury person? Did you meet this person at an open house? You could have an open house tag. So basically the goal is to tag based on how you're going to run your database. Now, we give you a whole bunch of examples for this in a lot of the classes that we teach on command and on contacts, but understand that it's all still going to be customizable for you based on how you want to run your business. And then once you get your client into opportunities, which means they're going into contract, then those stages as well can be manipulated a little bit to work for your clear to close and how you do that. And you'll learn all of this through this class. So if I'm speaking a foreign language to you, you'll get it. Don't worry. It's basically, you just want to start in your head thinking, the people I know, how would I categorize them? How? Family, friends, A+ friends, meaning I love these people. I would erase their hard drive for them, right? Like some of us have those people in our lives. Like I would erase, there's a few people's hard drive that I would totally erase for them, right? Those are my close friends. You know, they can call me when they get arrested and I will pick it up and not tell their spouse, right? That's those people. So you're going to have those people. Everyone has those people. Could be just one person. I feel like my husband has that one person and it's me. He needs more friends. But in reality, those people are going to be the ones that may not buy and sell real estate with you, but they're going to refer you a lot. So when we give you numbers, when you're looking at these numbers of, if you have 100 people in your database and you're constantly touching them, you should have 12 transactions at the end of the year. It doesn't mean that those 12 transactions came from those 100 people that they're buying and selling houses. It could mean that 4 of those 100 actually bought a house or sold a house, and 8 of them 8 of them came from 8 other people that referred someone that they knew, right? Or worked with someone and knew that they were selling and referred them to you. So this isn't just about them giving you business, these people, it's about them thinking about you when they think about real estate. So when they hear a conversation about real estate, they refer you back. Does that make sense? So if you only have 100 people in your database, that is okay. If your average commission is $5,500 and you sell 12 homes, what is your GCI? 60 something? That's still not a bad business. So starting small and growing it, and just understanding, if you don't have a database, then you don't have a business. You really don't. So this piece, Gary would say, is the most important piece, and I would say is the most important piece of your entire career as a business owner. Focus on the database every day. Add to it. Clean it. We just have an agent in the company. His name is Tom Hubert, and he and I work together at Remax. And he's a very analytical person. So high C, if you talk about the disc, analytical. An analytical person's fear is not being correct. Okay, that's a natural thing that they have inside them. It just comes out of them when, you know, an architect, an engineer, accountants, a lot of analytical people have analytical jobs. Their fear is not being correct. So just remember that all the different fears, you'll learn about it in the DISC class. But so Tom, his database was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I would show people his database when I would teach Ignite in the beginning, because it was just a perfect example. He had it color coded, right? And his was a little different. We didn't have command then, so it was always on an Excel spreadsheet. And he had it color coded of, and I think he had about 800 people in his database. And he was roughly, you know, $6 to $8 million producer on average every year, but he has been out of the business now for about 10 years. So, and he lives in the Carolinas, and I did get a referral for him, believe it or not, because he did not get licensed down there or stay licensed here. So it's interesting. Long story short. So his database would have, because he was so analytical, color coded, and if he liked them or not. And it was really funny. And I was like, Tom, like, why do you have these people in your database? And he's like, because they refer business to me. I don't want to do business with them because they're pains in the butts. But these pains in the butts refer so much business to me that I used to get angry and just take them out and not talk to them. He said, but I realized that these pains in the butts sell house need, you know people that like them. And I might like the people that they like, right? So I'm not going to take these pains in the asses out. And that was the reality of it. And it was such a huge aha, because so many people go in their database and are like, I haven't talked to this person in 5 years. I don't really like this person, so I don't want them. Or, you know, I used to call it the grocery test, right? If you're in the grocery store and somebody's in your database and you're hiding behind the melons, then you might want to take them out of your database. And now I realize that you can still hide behind the melons because you don't want to get in that 45-minute conversation. But remember that those people are the ones that love you so much, they're going to refer all the business to you. So when you're going through your data, don't get picky, be purposeful. Make sense? Say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint, also known as Keynote, because I'm a Mac head. All right, so I just showed you a little bit of the command. Now, in here, you can color code, tag it. You can make colors just like Tom did. How exciting is that, right? What are some tags that would be useful that you guys can think of? Shout out a tag.
Buyer.
Absolutely. Buyer. What other tag?
Open house.
Oh,
Whether
What?
they are hot or not. I mean, whether they want to buy soon.
Right. You can tag it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
How about A, B, C, D?
You can do any, absolutely. A clients, B clients, C clients, B, drive you crazy clients, right? You can do anything. Remember, they can't see this. This is only for your purpose. They're not going to see the tag that you created. So you can call them whatever you like.
I have an engaged tag because a lot of people who are getting engaged are starting to look at houses already.
Love that, Michelle. Love that.
Another one is I have over 500 people in my national sorority, and for the first year, I totally forgot about them. So don't do something like that. Don't be Michelle in that sense.
Don't be the secret agent. Don't be a secret agent, guys. Do you bowl? Do you golf? Do you play tennis? Do you swim?
Animal lovers, that's the big one.
Huge. Huge. Find something that you can give your heart to that follows your path so that when you're selling real estate, it's something that ties you into it, right? So when they think of it, they also think of you for this other thing. I have a friend down in New York City who she's a little crazy, and she sells a lot of international houses, meaning she finds people in Italy and she sells them on a property in, Mumbai. Like it's insane what she does. She isn't in those countries. She's just become so during COVID, she's just become so purposeful with creating relationships with companies that do tours when you come into the communities. Like, she'll meet all the people that you would hire to give you a tour of Vietnam, right? And she'll find these people. Then she finds the real estate agents because that's kind of the way they connect. Then she finds the real estate agents, and then she sells to the real estate agents. Like, she just creates these referral relationships. What new developments do you have in your area that I could promote for you? And so then she starts to do these online tours of these areas, of these estates, right? Of, hey, we're going to meet for a half an hour on this day, grab your cocktail, grab your seltzer, whatever, and we're going to explore this resort, this timeshare together. And she does it right from her house right from her apartment in New York City. And she's created this huge, huge network. She does speak some languages, which has helped her because she can speak in different languages. But there are so many places that you could do this with that have English as a first language, or as they may speak English. So we are the lazy ones in this world. I have realized when you travel the countries, most people speak English and another language. We really don't. So you'd be surprised. But that's just giving you an example of what she's done, like just getting creative on top of the model, right? If you think of that triangle, you can get creative on the top part. But if you'd flipped it upside down and you got creative first and you don't have the systems, the triangle, it tips over, right? Okay. So the goal is to teach you how to do this. This is fun, right? I love teaching how to use your database. I don't. So interactions, filtering, you can add system tags. Basically, you're going to put your lead source. There's a 30-minute video on this, guys, that will teach you how to do it. Or take a class with your MCTT or go on KW Connect Live. They have a lot of these tech demos. Managing your database, the goal in here is to make sure your filters are on and off and you're using them correctly, right? Putting in as much information as possible is going to make it the better, right? So date of birth, The last time you connected with them, if you have your database open when you're prospecting, you're just going to be writing your notes in there as you're prospecting, right? You're calling someone, hey, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I'm a huge video for birthday fan, sending a video, texting it to them. Hey, it's Carrie. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Have a fabulous day. See you soon. Would love to see your face one day. And just send that. How long did that take me to say? 5 seconds? And then send it to them. You can do that, right? But in your database, you want to put in there that you contacted them on that day. So it's showing the activities, right? You're going to see more out of it if you really start to put the interactions in there. Okay. Create a custom smart view. This is what smart views are. Let me just do it. Hey, Chris, do you know how to create a smart view? Wish we had Chelsea in here right now.
Yeah, I would fumble through it, and I don't know if I could be as efficient as.
It's all right, I'll do it. Little do you know I can do it all. Don't tell anyone. Is there anything in the chat I need to go over while I'm looking all this up?
Been relatively quiet.
Relatively quiet. All right, everybody understands what tags are, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And highly recommend using them. It really helps you later.
Well, first you got to put your data in there, right? And then you're going to tag it. I'm a fan of A's, like they're my A clients, B's and C's. That's the way I always did it. But you guys can do it however you want. And then the other tags that I would add in there are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Could they be a buyer and a seller, right? And the reason that you're putting the tags in there is that you can search, and then you can create a smart plan for that search, right? So think of it as just a quick way to sort your database based on those tags, right? If it's if you know you have a house coming on the market and you have 10 buyers in your database that would be perfect for that property, you might want to set them up on a smart plan to automatically get that listing when it comes on the market, right? So that they're aware of it. So that would be a way that you could do it. You could go through and sort by tag, choose that group, market to them, and then maybe you get a buyer out of it. Maybe somebody would want to see it, and you get both sides of it if you want to run your business that way, right? Some MLSs don't allow, I know, double-sided transactions. In Binghamton, they don't allow that really. The broker has to represent the buyers. If we have the listing inside and we have both clients, the broker is the one that has to do the negotiating. Very challenging, but some of it are different. Answers.kw.com, write this down. That is a great resource for how you get started with your contacts, how you get started with anything, like how you do command. In the beginning, guys, if you're new to real estate, just getting into command and adding your friends and family is important. You all know 20, 25 people. Starting with those 20, 25 people, learning how to add the tags, and then setting them up on a smart plan, that's the best thing to do. Just doing that activity. Okay?
Hey, Carrie, one other thing I want to recommend. Sorry. Everyone has that one relative who has the address of everybody in your entire family. Call that person and ask them to get their list. I'm sure it's even organized. That's what I did when I first started. My family goes down to the 4th cousin. So I had 67 contacts.
Here you go. How did that make you feel? Michelle, how did that make you feel looking at 67 contacts in there?
It made me realize that some of their kids were already remarried and I didn't even know they grew up. So I felt old at first, but it was great. It was great to have. It's my aunt. She keeps in contact with everybody, but everybody has that one family member who sends out still all the Christmas cards, basically knows who's been married. They have the finger on the pulse with the whole, your whole family line. Call that person, ask for their support, ask for their help, and they will probably talk your ear off about every single person. So just be prepared. Time block it.
I am going to, in the chat, send to everyone. I want you guys to click on this link and save it. So this is the answers.kw.com. When you click on it. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like. When you click on it, this is what it looks like. Command. You don't want to go here. That's for your market centers. If you're in a team, this is the team function, but this is basically where you're going to want to go. Then once you get in here, it's got all the help and support. So if you want to learn how to do something, you're struggled, these are where all the answers are. I'm a fan of going here before trying to search for it in KW Connect, just being really honest, because you probably have a question and here's the answer, as opposed to just looking on KW Connect for videos by looking for a search. I find that this is the best solution. So bookmark answers.kw.com. And then you'll be able to go into each category on how to do it. All right, so command. Right now, we're supposed to show you. I'm doing so well today. Which one is it? Customize columns, use filters, and create smart views in contacts. Do you see that in here? Is this it? Nope. I can find it in the one source and not in the other. I am good. We're good. Customize. Come on, Carrie. It's got to be in here. Sorry, guys. I tell you to go here and I can't find the answer. Well, the one I'm looking for, command contacts. Oh, it's under contacts. Okay. Articles in this section, customize. Here we go. Here we go. Perfect. So this is how you would customize columns and contacts. This is what they were talking about in your Ignite. This will show you really quickly how to do it. The reality is you need the data, right? So showing you how to do this is great, but you need the data. So the hard work is getting your database with the information in there first, right? And then you can actually customize your columns based on how you would like to view them, right? And that's what this is walking you through. There's also in here how to customize, how to create the smart views in contacts, right? How to create safe searches for your contacts. I am a fan of not sending anything through, just so you know, I'm a fan of not sending anything through the MLS. This is just my personal opinion. In my humble opinion, Carrie feels this way. Why do I feel this way? I'll tell you why. When you're sending something from the MLS, it's a portal out. Once the client receives it, they can't stay on there and search for homes. It's only one way, they're receiving it. Right? The reason Zillow kicked our butt for so long is because they went from what we sent them to Zillow because they could stay on Zillow, they could search, and then we lost them. The goal is to do the same thing that Zillow did. Your consumer app is designed to be better than Zillow, right? So the goal is set your contacts up. You can create a neighborhood search with them for their own neighborhood where they live now, so they can get information on where they live now. But you can also create I just lost my train of thought. You can also create all of the data from those people to be given to them, like the searches, right? So if they're a buyer, if they're a seller, you're going to set up the search in their consumer app. They can change the consumer app too. They can add different areas. What it does is it notifies you through Kelly that they're changed their search or that they've saved properties or et cetera, et cetera. So I'm using it as a consumer right now and I love it. On the back of the house as the agent too, because I have myself set up as the agent of myself, I can see what's happening. So I really highly recommend you guys use it as a consumer, set yourself up as a contact, and then watch it. Go in and change your search and then see what it does and how it notifies you. The goal is once the data is in the database, if your clients are looking for property, you want to know they're looking for property. The only way you're going to know they're looking for property is if they're using your consumer app. So having conversations, calling them, saying, hey, I know you just bought this house 4 years ago. I know you're not ready to sell, but if you had a magic wand, where would you go? Find out where they want to go and set them up on a neighborhood search for where they want to go. Give them the value. That's the goal. Be the person that gives the value, then they come to you for more, right? So that's the way you look at it. All right. Ahas. I overwhelm all y'all.
Yep.
Everything's an aha, Carrie.
All right. I'm going to go quickly through SMART plans and then we're going to take a break. And then we have 20 slides to go through very quickly. A lot of this class today and a lot of this class is it's just about your database, right? It's that core piece. What we're going to do now is going to practice some scripts and stuff and how conversations and how we cultivate the business, right? But first I got to finish just a little bit of the SMART plan. So a SMART plan is what? What's a SMART plan?
A strategic way to reach your database.
Absolutely. So give me an example of a SMART plan.
Monthly neighborhood nurture.
Perfect. So when we look at this lovely slide right here, monthly neighborhood nurtures, bi-weekly neighborhood nurtures, midterm nurtures, long-term nurtures, 8x8. All of you that have read this book, you know, this book is 20 something years old. The 36 touch they talk about in here, that's a SMART plan. Okay. So just understand it's the 8x8, 36, etc. That's what they mean in here by a 36 touch campaign is what a SMART plan is. Okay. And so when you think about that, if you haven't read this book, read it. Highly, highly recommend it. It's something that I read every year and I'm up to what, 14? I actually think I've read it more than that. I think one year I read it once a quarter. So I'm probably up to like 16, 17 times I've read this book. I could probably write it now, which is great. But a lot of the things I say, you'll read in here, you're like, oh, Carrie said that, because it's internalized now. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of how I teach. It's a part of how I think, right? KW agents think a little bit differently because we're building businesses. This is broken down into 4 categories. Thinking first, right? What you did yesterday in Ignite is to think. How big do you want your business to be? What does that look like, right? Then the next step in here is earning, and then netting, and then receiving. You have to think first before you start to earn though, right? You have to have the vision before you can get somewhere. You can't just get in a car and go somewhere, can you? I mean, you can, but what's the goal, right? That's what a lot of people do in this business. They just get in and they think they're doing something, but they're not going anywhere. And that's when I always say, be careful. You're mistaking movement for achievement. Movement isn't getting you paid. Achievement is where you're going to receive the reward. And Diana Kokoska always said, you know, Diana Kokoska used to run our MAPS program. And she would always say, be comfortable with the fact that this opportunity is big. Number one, understand that. Be okay with how big this business can get. And if you don't want it to be that big, that is okay. But understand that it has that opportunity. How you're going to treat your database is going to reflect how you're thinking about that opportunity. It correlates. Can you imagine? We had a top team in another company that wanted to sit down with Gary Keller. And I remember this phone call because one of the team leaders called up and I was sitting here, right? And they're like, oh, we want, can you introduce this team to Gary? And so they started asking questions like, well, tell me about this team. What's their database look like? What, and the agent didn't know the answers. They're like, well, we just want Gary to sit with them. Well, the reality is if they don't have those answers, Gary's not going to sit with them. He's not just going to sit and do your job, right? So the reality is we got to know that information. I can't prescribe anything to someone. If I'm a doctor, I'm not going to prescribe you drugs for something that you don't have an ailment for, right? So it's very similar when we're in this business. We're not just going to tell a seller what to do if we didn't really analyze the situation, and everybody's going to be different. That's our opportunity. The database is the same thing. We have to analyze it. We have to look at it. We have to feed it every day. We have to clean it up, nurture it, and set up campaigns, right? Smart plans, calls, just giving love. That's our job, guys. Showing value. One of the biggest things you can do with your database and a tag is setting up your vendor tag. Having conversations with those vendors. Think about all the vendors you need. How many people do you need to sell a house? What are the people we need? Name some.
Inspectors, attorneys.
Attorneys. What else?
Appraisers.
What?
Well, appraisals.
Appraisals, inspections, attorneys,
Lenders.
landscapers,
Home inspector.
Electricians.
Cleaners,
Stagers, cleaners,
movers,
photographers.
people that know how to, carpenters, electricians, plumbers. Maybe you need movers. There's a lot of vendors that we have to have a relationship with. Those people need to be in your database too and tagged as a vendor, but also they need to have a conversation with you and them to make sure that you understand the mutual expectations of the relationship. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to refer business to someone, there needs to be a mutual expectation that they're going to refer business back. And I'm not saying it needs to be one for one, because attorneys work with many, many real estate agents. Yet the conversation is, hey, I have you on my list. I am going to give out your information. I would love, when someone is thinking about real estate, if you would recommend me a few times a year. And that is it. That's all you're going to ask for. And you just say a few times a year. Don't give them a number. Just say a few times a year. Because a few times to them could be 2, it could be 10. You don't know. But if you give them a number, they don't do it. So just saying a few times a year and saying, hey, looking forward to working with anyone you'd love to refer in, you're going to say that a few times a year back, right? So the reality is, it's got to be a mutual. Carpenters know when people are selling houses. The best people are freaking roofers, right? Everyone knows when the roof is failing. Roofers are great. The challenge is we can't find them because they're not really reliable. So if you find a good roofer, a good plumber, a good electrician, a good person that can just work around the house, love on them. Love, love, love on them. And don't give out your vendor information to your clients unless they're going to do business with you, right? If you're going on a listing presentation or a buyer presentation and you have your vendors there, you do not hand them that list until they sign the paperwork. That is your team, and you need to protect it, right? But your database that you have that love you, you're going to share that information with them. Or that you have those people that all they have to do is reach out to you for your resource. Hey, by the way, I can help you if you need someone to open your pool or you need a landscaper. But you have to go out and create those businesses, relationships with those people. And you want to talk about customer service and ask them what customer service means to them. Ask them what their core values of their business is, and ask them how long it takes for them to return a phone call. Do they work weekends? And remember, behavior profile, when you take that class tomorrow, it's important to match, right? When someone calls me up for a referral of an agent, they're like, oh, I want a top agent in Saratoga Springs. I'm like, great, tell me about your client. Or like, I just need an agent. I'm like, awesome, tell me about your client. Well, why do you need to know that? Well, I want to make sure that I find the right agent for that client. Because here's what I know. If you're not spending a lot of time on your behavior and understanding and mirroring and matching it, your natural behavior is going to show up under stress and under any sort of pressure, right? You can't hide that natural behavior. If I have a high analytical person that's moving up from Westchester, I can't put that person with a messy top producer that just moves very, very fast and gets shit done. That would drive him crazy, and that wouldn't be a good match. Now, maybe that's the top producer and they're awesome and they have the most sales. They wouldn't give the best service to this person. So that's why it's important that we're matching them. The same thing with our customers, right? And clients. You're going to match the inspector. You're going to match the mortgage person. That's why you want to have 3. That's why you want to have 3 of everything. It isn't really about, covering your butt. You learn about that in your real estate class, right? You got to give out 3 names. Yes. The reality is you're going to want to give out 3 names because you want to circle the one that's going to be the best match for them. Inside, not on the paper, but you kind of want to put them first, right? This would be a great person for you to contact. When you do that up front too, it also helps you guys, In the beginning, the hardest part is saying no to something, but it is probably the most powerful sentence that you can ever learn. And it is a complete sentence. No. There are things outside of your job description that you do not want to do. You're not an inspector. You shouldn't be answering bank questions, right? You shouldn't be answering attorney questions. You stay in your lanes and you don't go above and beyond for things outside of the lane. Now, inside the lanes, absolutely, right? They need the house cleaned. Great, we're gonna get cleaners in there. They need it staged. Great, we're gonna get, that's your lane. They need creative financing and da-da-da-da-da. That's not your lane. That's the mortgage lane. That's the banker's lane. That is not your lane. That's where agents get in troubles because they want to learn it all. And then they want to go share it all. If it isn't in your real estate practice, don't share it. Remember Josh? Josh, you still on here? Josh does this really cool videos of cutting down trees.
Yeah,
And remember what I said to you after you shared it with me?
I do.
What did I say?
I think you were kind of guiding me on like, at-home tips are great, but maybe not put a chainsaw into a client's hand.
Right? He was teaching people how to cut down a tree. And I was like, dude, I love this value. Excellent value, right?
It made for great videoing. It went in as a clip without any words. And
No,
just
excellent.
some good action shots, but
it just needed like a disclaimer.
Reliability.
Yeah, we needed the disclaimer that was like, this is a real estate agent cutting down the trees. We do not expect you to do this at home. Please hire someone to do this, but this is what it would look like, right? But because Josh can cut down trees. So that's just like a little example, but I have seen people do things that they should not do, right? They're cleaning the house. They're in the attic repairing something. We had someone go through the ceiling. An agent go through the ceiling because they're in the attic and they shouldn't have been in the attic. Why are you in the attic? So just stay in your lanes. Please stay in your lanes. And if you have to say, do I need a degree for that? Then you definitely want to stay in your lane, right? Especially if it's an accounting question, a tax question, an attorney question, legal. We are not legal. We interpret the law. That's why our contracts are written the way they're written. It's what it is. Attorney state. 7 states in the United States are attorney states, and we are one of them. And we are the most litigious attorney state. So love it. You got to love it. All right. So smart plans. So smart plans are what you're going to do when you set people up. You're going to utilize you're going to search based on however you want. You can use your tags to search, or you're just going to take the people and set them up. You need the address for most of the smart plans to work. Okay, so they can't really give you a neighborhood nurture if you don't know the neighborhood the person lives in. So that's not going to help, right? Hold on. Can you let Adam Nye in, please? All right, so we're letting Adam in, and we are going to take a break. And then we're going to go right till noon, and we're going to finish up. And so when you come back, guys, we're just going to do a quick 5-minute bio break, grab some water. And then when you come back at 11:15, we're going to practice some success habits and some scripts. And I'm going to break you out into some break rooms. You're going to get to know each other. All right. See you in 5 minutes.
So Carrie.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. Sorry. Just letting you know, I'm unable to find how to unblock Chris. I've researched it, went into the back of the house, and there's nobody saying that he's blocked. So I find it very odd.
Okay. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. When you go into unblock and whatnot, there are no participants in there that say they've been blocked or anybody that's been blocked. So.
Okay.
Who? This waiting room.
Josh will.
Message. Oh, no.
Hold on. Recording. Thank you, Chris. Smart plans, you definitely need an address in order to set up a smart plan. I think I said that, but I just want to reiterate, in order to do a smart plan, you need an address, okay? And you set somebody up on a smart plan as soon as you have a conversation with them and you get that data, okay? So there are a lot of smart plans in there and they are customizable. That is a class. So everything that we're talking about today, a smart plan, tags, how to add a person into your database, all of these are taught in your market center from your market center tech coordinator, or they're available on KW University to watch. It's about a 5-minute video if you watch on KWU, and it's probably a 30-minute class if you take it, because they go step by step, right? And then everybody asks questions that were already asked. So isn't that how it always is? All right, so today, the next step that we have to do is we have to talk about scripts. So when I say the word scripts, tell me what you hear.
Acting, doing something, practicing something, a script. You know, look at a script, read it, practice it, and try it on somebody.
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to pick a script, we're going to internalize it, and then we're going to practice it with somebody. Okay. So my question for you guys is, what type of script would you like to learn about today? We can do seller scripts. We can do social media message scripts. We can do an inventory script. We can't really do door knocking. But, you know, we have a lot of different scripts to choose from.
I vote social media.
I was gonna say, I'd like
Yeah.
to do social media too.
Yeah.
All right, social media it is. So do you guys know where your scripts, you have a script booklet is? No? Okay, so where you receive this data for the page, you know, that whatever, hello, Gary, you speak English. There's an Ignite toolkit in the resources for Ignite. In that toolkit have a whole bunch of things. There's a 66-day challenge in there if you want to start a new habit. There's buyer leads sheets in there. There's checklists for when you receive offers, when you're reviewing offers. There's writing offer checklists. There's scripts for Spark and for Element, Elemental Ignite Element. We're doing Ignite Spark. So you want to click on the Ignite Spark reference book, and that has all the scripts in there. The goal for scripts really are to learn them, internalize them, and just create your own, right? And they'll come out, they'll become yours. Nobody wants to hear someone talk like a robot on the other side of the phone. Hi, my name is Carrie. I am calling from Keller Williams Realty, because you're freaked out. By the way, just an off, like I have you guys, 40 of you right now in one moment. Texting is really a bad way of communicating with consumers, especially when you're in the middle of a transaction. So if you can please, if your client is texting you, always read the text as a robot. No energy. So the way I was saying that, like I'm just going to read a sentence. Demonstrate how to add notes about the conversation to the contact in command. That's how I read every single text message. There's no emotion in it because I'm reading it as no emotion. That will help you not react to some clients, number one, but also be able to, if they're an analytical person, there may not be emotion in their text at all, yet you're adding it. So very good thing. I learned it years ago. Sarah D'Angelo and I joke about it all the time because an agent will call, Sarah's our broker on call. So an agent will call up and they have this text message from their client, and then she'll read it and we'll read it in robot and it sounds fine, right? Yet the inflection that person read it in was very emotional, and therefore we have to take the emotion out. So when you're doing any sort of transactions, especially if there's negotiation happening, pick up the phone, listen. I know and the reason I'm saying that is because we just went to social media as the first script, okay? Which means it's more of a passive social script lead generation as much as a picking up the phone and having a conversation.
Well, you can't call anybody now.
You can call anybody you know.
You know,
Yeah.
but you can't call up a stranger. Is there like a COVID rule?
Yeah, there's no cold calling during a state of emergency, and from right now, that goes through April 28th, and then it may get changed.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: do you have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Awesome. If you went to, are you on an iPhone or an Android?
iPhone.
Awesome. If you go to your contacts right now, all your contacts, and then you just scroll all the way, oop, not like that, but scroll all the way down through Z. How many contacts do you have in your phone?
Let me see. Okay, gotcha.
How many you got?
Well, it says here 8 contacts, but I got more than that.
It says you have 8?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have more. I have 4,800 people. Yeah.
Holy cow. I only have 57.
I have 4,800 people on my phone. I've been using this same phone number for years, right? I have
got
many
more.
businesses, right? I know all these people. They're my phone. I can call them. So that's the reality. We do have people we can call. It's just that we want excuses. Not saying that anyone here is making excuses, but it's we can't cold call, so therefore I can't call anyone. No, you can call warm people. You know that you have their contact information. That means you have their information. That means they're a warm call, and you can just say, "Hey, this is Carrie Weiss. I didn't know if you know that during COVID, I decided to change everything. Why not? And I got my real estate license. I'm really excited. I just wanted to let you know that now I'm selling real estate. So if you know anyone, I would love to give them amazing service. You know what type of person I am. You know how much I believe in customer service. So if you know anyone buying, selling, investing in real estate, please keep me in mind and give me that opportunity. I would be hugely grateful." That's it. That's a script, right? That's a conversation.
Right.
We can also just
Carrie?
come up and say, "Hey, what you doing? How's life?"
Carrie,
Yes.
I feel like marketing script, or I'm sorry, social media scripts are really just a marketing tactic. Scripts are more like a prepared response to convey a specific confident message to whatever your client has a question of. If they're listing or if they're in sales, they want advice for anything, it's a prepared, confident response. So you don't sound like you're fumbling over your words.
Correct.
Not so much a script that you have to read verbatim. That's what you mean by turning it into your own dialect.
Yeah, having it become a conversation and become a natural part of who you are. Like my house is very scripted. My kids are so scripted that if you were to call a 16-year-old's voicemail, it's, "Hi, you've reached Sadie Weiss at da 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 da. I'm unavailable to answer your phone right now, but if you leave your name, number, and a message, I will get back to you at my earliest convenience. Thank you so much." Like what 16-year-old has a voice message like that? That's what she heard us doing for years and years, and that's what her voicemail sounds like. And she's had a voicemail like that since she was like 12. So when she got the phone, that is a script. That's a conversation. That's what I'm talking about. When your vocabulary changes, when you are saying more positive things, right? Looking at things differently, bold kind of helps us with that, right? It shines a light on inside that crazy space inside our head of the limiting beliefs that we have. There's a great song that Katy Perry wrote called Roar. Anybody ever hear of it? Roar. Do you know what that song is about? It's about the bully that you have inside you. It's about the person that bullies you every single day, which is yourself, right? Let's be realistic. You get up and you look in the mirror and you say something to yourself. And then you get dressed and you're saying something to yourself. And you're washing, whatever, you're washing yourself and you're saying something to yourself. Some of the things we say are not nice. That's the reality of it, right? So we need to change that inner dialogue. Scripts can actually help with that. Having affirmations every day can help us with the negative self-talk that we absolutely all have. I don't care who you are, you have it, right? Just how much of it you listen to and how much of it you don't is going to be where you're successful. The people that become successful don't listen to that person that's telling them that they can do this tomorrow, or they're not good enough to make this money, or whatever it is that's in there that you don't even realize is happening, right? So that's what the scripts do. The scripts give us the preparedness to be able to go out there and have those conversations and not worry about what we're saying, to actually give value. Scripts are value. And sounding scripted, nobody wants to sound scripted. So what we want to do is we just want to have conversation. And the only way we can have this conversation is by practicing the scripts till they sound like a conversation, right? There's script practice in our region every other Tuesday. Lisa Williams in my office in KW Capital District leads that. It's a mastermind script practice. Pick a topic and y'all practice it. You pick it apart, you take it apart, you put it back together, and you change it, right? You make it your own. And then you go out there and you practice it.
Well, here it says the Ford option. Ford option. How's the family? How are you still working up the occupation? Are you still enjoying recreation? Do you ever pursue that dream? You know, the Ford option. And by the way, I have 441 contacts.
There you go. So you have 441 people you can have
Right.
a conversation with.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So if we talk to 10 people a day, 50 people a week, how many weeks do you have to make phone calls?
About 5 weeks.
9 weeks. You have 9 weeks of calls. Right?
Mhm.
9 times 50 is what? Yeah, 9 weeks of calls. So yeah, you've got an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I do.
So what you can do is you start tracking it, right? Get your phone open, get command open, put the information, the name and the phone number in command, call them, and just let them know what you're doing.
Do I have to do that manually?
Excuse me? You can export your phone into command. You can all take your cell phone and export it into
I
command.
said, I can do that? How's that? How can I export all the numbers in my cell phone to command?
Which office are you in?
Greater Rochester.
Awesome. Who's the MCTT in Greater Rochester?
Christine Whitus.
Awesome. You're going to call her and you're going to ask her to help you transfer your database into command.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It takes less than 5 minutes. You could watch a video and do it, but let her help you, because then you can take that time if you set up an appointment with her to get other things done.
Yes.
Your
Okay, thank you.
MCTTs are here to help you guys do exactly what we're learning today. How to set up the smart plans, how to contact your database. That's their job. Their job is to educate you on the systems of the Keller Williams that have anything to do with technology. Your mobile app, your Kelly app, and there's there's a KW app and there's a Kelly app. Kelly is blue, and mobile app is white with the red KW. That's the consumer app. We used to have a branded app, right? Everybody's like, I'm confused. Where's my face? This isn't about you no more. Your website's about you. The KW command applet is what they call it. That's for the consumer, and it actually is connected to your database. So we have access to it in the back of the house. What the other thing did was it just branded us, which is great. We all like to look good and be right and be seen, but it didn't capture business. The consumer app captures business and it keeps the client in our ecosystem. You have to understand that right now data is king and we're protecting your data. That's what KW does. That's why we are focusing on what we are focusing on. And yes, command is glitchy. It is what it is, but understand the purpose behind it is to protect you. It's building a bunker for you and you didn't even realize it. So there are third-party sites that do something similar to what KW does, but it doesn't do one thing. It doesn't protect your business, right? It can touch your business, but because it's not a KW system, it's not protecting it, right? So when it doesn't protect it, then you lose it. You will work with someone and they'll say, oh, I didn't know that you served this area. We ended up buying a house in, Fort Drum. Oh, I service that area. But when we did the buyer analysis with them in the beginning, and they picked the 2 or 3 areas that they wanted to live in, Fort Drum never came into it, right? Or Syracuse never came up in it. Now they're on their consumer app looking in Syracuse, and I'm like, dude, you're moving to Syracuse? Because I see the activity because they're in my database. I couldn't see the activity on the branded app. I can't see the activity if they're on another site in command. Maybe it has something similar to that, but this is connected through the entire ecosystem. Once it's like Netflix, once they're in it, they're not going to go out and buy another platform like Netflix. They're not going to go look at those Netflix movies on another product. They can't, right? So the goal is to capture them and to give them the value constantly. So that's where the database comes in. That's why we spend so much time on it today. Okay, so scripts. And you were right, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, what they do for fun, and then dream. That's just a way to have a conversation with someone if you want to remember that acronym. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It gives you some scripts in here. If you're new to KW, there's some great scripts. If you're new to real estate, there's some great scripts. Understand that you can always pull the market stats for your market center to give value to your clients so that they understand. Like if you haven't sold a house yet, you're going to say KW sold da 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 in the month of March or in the month of April, right? You're going to use those stats when you're marketing. If you're doing any sort of market stat, use the stats. That's what they're there for. If you're going to market yourself on how many properties you're selling, that's a different conversation. That's what you start to do basically by just celebrating the people that bought houses on social media. That's a way that you can do that and capture more business. So everybody grab a pen. I want to give you some names to follow on Instagram. Some people that may be in your market centers, may not be in your market centers, but these are just different people on social media that are doing it at a very high level, okay? The first person that I would recommend for you to follow, well, I'm gonna just, they're all very similar people in the aspect of drivers, right? Shannon McCarthy team, I know we have 2 people on here, very amazing with social media, what she does. Christine Marcasello team, the Marcasello team, excellent. Mandy Friend Giavatti team, I think that's what she's out of Rochester, excellent social media. Susan Glenn's, same thing, excellent social media. Alicia Bevan, she's a newer associate who was on the Shannon McCarthy team. Her social media, she does great stuff with TikTok, before and after pictures, because she's really handy with, creating things. Find what your strength is. If you refurnish furniture, do a before and after picture, use that in your social media. People don't want to see pictures of houses anymore. They don't, unless they're buying a house. They want to see unique things, pictures of stained glass, pictures of a cool door, pictures of before and after of staging, things like that. Other people to follow. Liz Landry, she's out in Florida, excellent. The Ubaldini team, amazing. Some other people in Florida real estate, there's so many agents down there. I think they have like 45,000 agents or something like that in Florida, which sounds like a lot of people. But there's so many unique, they sell 1 or 2, 3 houses a year, and they made their life, right? They made their 3 million and they're doing great. But there's a lot of really cool advertising. So going out and just finding the people that are using the TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Angie's List, what's the other ones? The neighborhood app that people, if you live in the neighborhood, you
Next door,
right? That kind of thing. Just make sure it's not a catty neighborhood. There are some challenges I've seen in there because it's very kind of bullying. But there's a lot of places for you to do this, right? The conversations are what's important, being consistent, knowing what you want to have go out, having a plan for your social media. Command tells you the best times to post, by the way. And just understand 2 things. Google and Facebook are our partners. We don't have a relationship with them like brokerages typically say, like, oh, we have a relationship with Facebook. We have partnership, right? Google is who actually took our consumer app and beta tested for 6 months. That's who designed it, right? We created it and they gave us the feedback, what consumer wanted, what the consumer wanted, what the consumer wanted. It wasn't us doing it. It wasn't agents doing it. It was what the consumer wanted, right? So we had over, I think it was like 6,000 Google employees using our Command consumer app before we launched it to KW. They're our partner because we have the artificial intelligence in the back of the house. It's Google artificial intelligence, right? Partnership. We're on the G Suite. Your at KW is actually Gmail. So that's a Google platform that we have access to. Also, Facebook is integrated in Command. We have a relationship with them based on our AI as well and what we're doing. They're studying us. We're giving them our information on how we're doing this and they're making it better. So they're our partner in this. It's huge and it's kind of fun because we get things that other people don't. So using the system and Instagram is the same as Facebook. It's owned by the same organization, right? So when you're using these platforms, being purposeful about your message, not just showing another listing, okay? People don't see it anymore. They're like, yep, another real estate agent. They see different things, right? Think about this. You drive down your street, you go down the same street over and over, and all of a sudden there's a sign in the yard. Do you notice it? Social streams are very similar to that, a street, right? So when you're on Facebook and you're looking at stuff, you slowly don't even realize it, but you start to pass by things that you constantly see because it doesn't draw attention. right? That's just our brain and the way it's working. So you want to show a little attention. Either it's because you have someone focused in there, like a client or an event, or you're sharing knowledge about the market and it's good. There's video involved. Video right now is the most important thing, guys. Sending a video, way better than anything else, than an email. It's just better. Think about the conversations you can have with your clients via video. You don't have to call them. You just can video them, say, hey, I just want to let you know, this is the time period that I told you about when we sat down, that we have nothing to do for 2 weeks, right? This is the time period where you as the buyer could make mistakes, right? You could go out and buy furniture, mess up your credit score, so now you can't qualify for that house. You could go out and buy a house, buy a car and screw up your credit score. So that 2 weeks, it's a great time to send a video. Hey, there's nothing to do for 2 weeks. I know we're in holding pattern, waiting for the appraisal to come back and waiting to close on this house. Don't mess it up. Don't go buy anything. If you're going to buy something, call me. Like, that's a great video to send, right? Things like that, just giving the value, are important, but you got to have the data to have the value. All right, so let's practice. You guys ready? I think these are social media direct messages. And I'm just, hold on. I forgot I wasn't sharing my screen. I apologize. You're all like not looking at anything. Okay, can you see this now? Can you see the social media messages?
Yes.
Yes. Somebody's
Yeah.
Awesome. Hold on. Okay. So this social media message. Hi, Michelle. I'm going to use you. Thanks for following me. I saw you commented on my listing at 123 Main Street. It's an amazing place, and I don't anticipate it being on the market long. Are you or someone you know interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, in a relationship? Michelle, I was trying to get you in a relationship. If they say they're just looking, then our response is, I see. If you know of anyone looking for a great home like this one, would you mind sending them my way? So basically, this is a social media message of somebody clicking on a lead, right? Meaning you took a listing and you put it out there and you marketed it. Or you put something, just open house today, blah, 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 come see it. And somebody followed it, right? So you can pick it up. And by the way, you can tell when someone clicks on something, you get their information, and if you're utilizing campaigns correctly, right? Through Facebook, there's a class for that. So go to it. Okay. The tech classes are going to be important in the beginning when you're building your business and when you're continuing to grow your business, because we do get lazy, right? We get into patterns and we figure out what we can do, the minimum of what we can do to get through, right? Don't allow that to happen in your business. Be really purposeful about your calendar, right? We all joke because Mark and I still use printed calendars, and I'm a visual person. I need to see my week ahead of time, right? And yes, I can put it in Google. It's there too, by the way. I double calendar. I do it every week purposefully, but all my reoccurring stuff I need to have kind of like in my printed calendar so that I know where my opportunities are, right? I knew I could teach this class today because of the 3 appointments that I always have on Tuesday are definitely movable, right? So like, that's important to me when someone's on the phone with me and they're like, oh, I could meet you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And you're like, great. And now you have to move something. If you know your calendar right away, you can just say, hey, 3 o'clock won't work, but what about 2 or what about 4, right? You just have to be prepared. So that's why I always had the printed calendar in front of me when I was making calls. You can do the same thing with your computer, right? I'm just old school. I got to write it, then I memorize it, then it goes into my calendar. So I do 2 entries, and it is what it is. But that's just me. A lot of people can just use the calendar, like, the Google Calendar. Okay, so I lost it. So let's practice these. The direct message 2 is, hey, Laura, it's Carrie with KW Capital District. Thanks for following me. I saw that you liked my listing at 123 Main Street. It's an amazing place, and I don't anticipate it being on the market long. Are you thinking of buying or selling in the near future? If they say they're just looking, your response is great. I am the local real estate expert in that neighborhood. Most people who are following me are thinking about a move or curious about the worth of their place. Which one are you? All right, does those sound very easy to have a conversation about? Oh my gosh, I did it again. Yes?
Yes.
We're gonna practice them. That's the point. That's all we're gonna do. Okay, so can you break us into breakout rooms, Chris? Do you know how to do that? Or do you want me to do it? Let me teach you something.
It'll be my first time as a go around on it. So I haven't had to use this feature yet, but it can assign automatically, correct? We
Correct.
just say how many.
And make sure you don't assign you or I. And what I'm going to do, guys, this is what we're going to do. Wait, before you go in, you're going to go into the room. You're going to practice these scripts. I want you to just introduce yourself to the person. Let them know what market center you're in if you don't know them. Don't leave right now. This is good for you. Everyone's going away. They're like, I'm done. I checked out. I'm good. I learned enough today.
I love that you just said that.
I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry.
I watch like 6 people just leave. Seriously, boom, boom, boom. All right. So I'm going to copy these scripts in there. This is what I want you to do. You don't look silly, guys. I promise you. Okay. There's no looking silly. When you go in there, introduce yourself and then internalize the script, read it. And then you're going to practice it out loud. You're going to take turns. I want you to go through the script, each of them twice. That's it. And then you're going to come back. That is it. Nobody's going to get harmed. You're not calling anyone. You're just going to say these scripts out loud to your partner. Take the scripts and put them in the
I
chat.
can't see the script.
I know. Listen, I'm going to take the script and put it into the chat as soon as you get into your room. Okay? Got it?
Yeah, give me one moment.
So do you know what room you're going into? Sorry.
No, you won't. You're just going to accept it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You got it, Chris, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, no, I just I think I got everybody paired up. Just making sure, verifying, and making sure that we are not.
All right, hit create.
All right, here we go.
And just accept that. There you go. All right, Chris, once everyone accepts it, then I can put the meeting chat in there. We can stop recording. Stop recording. We'll pause.